Hi, everyone who's joined us on. Okay, I have added you, Amado. Hi, everyone. Amado, I have added you. Please.
Hello everyone.
Hey. So, what's lockdown and online learning without a few tech glitches, right? So,
Yeah.
hey, everyone. Welcome to Super. So we're all set on Facebook and on um, Instagram. And we're really excited because today is a really fun day. We meet every Friday on Get Set Parent with Pallavi on Facebook and pallavi.rao.chaturvedi on Instagram. And I talk to you on a variety of subjects. But this time I thought I definitely wanted to add a really fun guest because I think the whole week I have been talking about active learning. So I did a session with First Cry, I did one with EO, where I actually have been talking about how demonstration, 360-degree learning, when you see, when you touch, when you do it yourself, the learning is far better. So I thought I should practice that myself and get somebody who can help me with exactly that. So I'm very, very happy to introduce my dear friend Meenal to you today. Hi, Meenal.
Hello everyone. A very warm welcome to our live video today. Hello Pallavi ji, how are you?
I'm good. I'm great. Thank you, Meenal. So, guys, everybody who's on our pages, you're either on Meenal's page, which is the Amado page, or you're on my page, which is the Get Set Parent with Pallavi page. And today we're coming together to try and give you all something really exciting. So, I want to very quickly introduce myself and Meenal. So I think you will all get the perspective from which we are doing these sessions today. My name is Dr. Pallavi Rao Chaturvedi. I'm an educationist. I'm an early childhood education expert and a parenting mentor. I run my own YouTube channel called Get Set Parent with Pallavi, and all of you know me from there. So we discuss a variety of emotional development, learning at home, tech-related issues, and I give you access to experts. So on that note, the expert for today is Meenal Rai Shejwar from the Amado Baking and Culinary Academy. So she is a pastry chef, if I'm not wrong, and she's a pro cake baker. I have tasted her work, and boy, I mean, they're one of the best cakes ever. She has been featured in international magazines for her work, and she specializes in edible caricature. So, Meena, so happy to be doing this with you. Usually we would have done it in person, but nevertheless, this is the new normal. So, how has it been, Meena, for you? How is this whole lockdown working out for you?
It was fun. I had fun with family. I have a 6-year-old and she learned a lot of baking. Nowadays, she every night 10 p.m. and she sees me free and she's like she just wants to bake every night. So that's how we have been doing.
Lovely, lovely. So, this is what I wanted to kind of tell people that, sometimes we think learning is all about pen and paper. So, how is it that we can ditch pen and paper and, you know, look at other mediums? Because when you change the medium, suddenly everything becomes fun, right? That's the same for us. When we are all in our offices, it's so cooped up. The moment you go in an outbound learning, it becomes so much more fun. So similarly, even for kids, you get out of a study table, pencil and paper, and what better place in the kitchen? What do you say?
Absolutely, it is. There are a lot of sensory things involved in a kitchen,
Yeah.
and we just think you take cooking very casually. I believe that it's a very daily routine thing. But when you actually see a small child who enters the kitchen for the first time, and the children are actually mesmerized. That's what I feel. By the ingredients, by the tools, by the methods, by textures, everything. There's so much in the kitchen.
Right. Absolutely. I think there is so much, and that's why today's session is called Cooking is Equal to Fun Learning. And dear parents, dear audience, everybody watching us, we all know that cooking is a life skill. And we all say that it's important for us to know cooking, to know how to kind of survive. But it is more than survival. It is such a confidence builder. It's such a feel good. And like Meenal, you mentioned, it's so sensory. You have so many, sights, you have smells, you have the sizzling sounds and touch, right? And of course, taste being the most primary sense. So when we talk about sensorial development, we talk about all five. And, just to start off, today I know you're going to show us 3 or 4 fantastic recipes that moms and kids can cook. I think some kids can cook by themselves, so we're going to look at all that. But, I just wanted to leave everybody with a thought before we go ahead that when we say, when you give an instruction to a child, like, or to anybody, say, mix 4 cups of water with, 2 ounces of flour and add 2 teaspoons of sugar and then knead it and cut it into 4 shapes. Can you imagine how many complex instructions the child is actually following, right? Yeah. It is complex instructions. It is multi-layered. So there is so much cognitive development and academics that we don't see. But because it is learning by doing, it is very engaging and children are able to pick up the concepts. So I'm going to be talking about various concepts as we go along. But I think to start off with, Meenal, we want to hear a little more about how your experience has been in the kitchen with your little one. And maybe you can start off with one nice recipe for us.
Sure, why not? So my daughter is 6 years old, and it's been 3 to 4 years. She has been seeing what is happening in the kitchen, whether it is cooking or baking. So how I started was, I took it very slowly, and I told her to just, come around and be seated and see what actually happens in the kitchen. And then slowly I introduced her to the ingredients and I let her touch everything, smell everything, taste everything. So what happens is she gets familiar with, what is sweet, what is sour. And now that she's 6 years old, this time that, she's already started measuring her ingredients. I recently taught her, because she started properly reading and she knows a little bit of maths, she understands. So now she has, with of course our adult supervision, she's now even started measuring, setting up her trays and all. So, I believe it's important to take them slowly and see if they are interested in it or not, and add a lot of colors, add a lot of textures to whatever you're making. So children love colors, and I believe fruits, especially vegetables, they all have got so much color. So it's really nice to play around with all these things and then start off. So I will quickly brief you about what we are going to do today. So most of the recipes are very simple, but they are extremely good on taste point, and they are fun to make. They are easy, and it will give a sense of achievement, a sense of pride when a child makes these things. So we have mango custard mousse, and we are also doing popsicles. So they are Oreo cream popsicles with nutty chocolate dip. And then I'll be showing you how to make garlic bread. Like, we all know that in lockdown, we're not ordering anything from outside. But baking a bread from scratch is really tough for kids to do. So a very simple, a very quick recipe of how with a simple bread, how can you make something that, tastes like Domino's garlic bread. So, and I might also show you some nice fruity magic wands, which is very easy to make, and children will love having fruits if you shape them and make magic wands out of it.
Lovely. So, this is so perfect. I think in lockdown, all of us are craving the garlic breads and we're craving some really yummy food. And before you start off, you mentioned math. And I think I would also like to start off on that before you share your first recipe. that when we talk about measurements, when we talk about math, right, it is not about your multiplication tables, or it's just not about doing complex problems. It is so much about your instinctive gut level of math, right? So when you're putting different ingredients together, the proportions involved, measuring them out completely. So for all our parents who have really young children, you could start off with maybe cup-based measurements. And as I think when your child is 8 or 9, give them a small home weighing machine. And, they will actually be able to weigh out in grams, 100 grams, 200 exposure to this. Similarly, in math, concepts of sequencing. So Meenal, right, in cooking, there is a particular sequence in which things have to happen, just like everything in math or in nature. So sequencing, pattern formation, the quantity estimation, even meal planning. When you talk about meal planning, if you have to make today mango mousse for 20 kids, how do you estimate how many mangoes are needed? So I always hear children say, oh, we don't want math, we don't like math. But how can you do anything without understanding quantities and numbers? And once they do it instinctively, they realize that math is everywhere. So, right, it's in your kitchen, it's even in the yummy food. You get your math wrong and the recipe goes for a toss. So that's the first point I wanted to make, that math is in your food. Yeah, Meena, you agree with that? Imagine your recipe proportions going wrong.
Yes.
So go ahead, let's see the first recipe.
Okay, so we will start with mango mousse, and all the recipes will be given to you during, probably during the video or probably at the end of the video. So I've measured everything in grams or in cups, so it will be convenient for you all to measure. One instruction that, because the kids are really young, they might not be able to measure everything right now. So to make it more fun, because measuring requires a lot of patience. So probably children of 8 years and above can even measure their trays. But below that, you should help them measuring everything. And if the child is probably below 4 to 5 years, it's better if you keep everything, like all the tray is ready. And then you start the fun part with them, because that's where you are creating the most interesting part of the recipe. So during measuring, of course, adult supervision is required. Some of the recipes, few of the steps will be there where we are beating or a little bit of fire is involved. So I would say that, of course, adult supervision, or if they're 5 years and below, then they can just watch you how you're doing it rather than actually, getting their hands in everything. So I'll begin with the mango custard mousse. So we have to make the mousse first. For that, we need, if you guys can come closer and show them things. So we need whipped cream, and we are using a non-dairy whipped cream. You can also use Amul fresh cream for it. And then we have custard. I will show you the consistency of custard. It is a little thicker than what we generally make for children at home. So because we want the mousse to be really nice, silky, smooth, so we have made a little thick custard. And then we have mango puree. Okay, you just have to dice all the mangoes and put it in a grinder and just puree it. It's as simple as that. Okay, so if anyone wants me, I just thought, I'll show you how to whip cream. And so generally the cream that we get is of this consistency, and we need to make it a little fluffy, a little foamier, so that we get a nice aerated mousse. So when you're working with children, this is a whisk, and of course, when you're working with children, you can't give an electric blender to them. Generally, if you want to whip a nice cream, then you need electric blender. So you just have to simply keep on whisking like this. Now, if I do this, it might take around 10 to 12 minutes if I'm doing it with my hand. Okay, we can't do it with a spoon. You need a whisk for it. Okay, now because we are in a live video and I would not want you all to wait for next 15 minutes for the cream to get whipped, I'll show you if the mothers can help their kids with an electric blender, and it will just happen in a minute. So this is an electric blender, and if we use this, it just takes a minute or two to get that consistency.
this is I think a beautiful point you brought out also, Meenal, that while you cook this, there's so many ingredients children are exposed to, right? So for example, you talk about mangoes and it's in the season. So you talk about seasonality, you talk about, one of the things is children think food just appears on the dining table. They don't realize the sources of food. And it is a genuine problem for the generation of today, understanding where ingredients come from. What are the good quality ingredients, where do they come from, what is the source of our food before it lands up as a finished dish is so important to know, right? So it's a wonderful immersive learning experience when you talk about where food comes from.
Yeah,
Wow,
so
now
this is done. It just took a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've measured my whipped cream as per the recipe. So I'll add a bit of mango puree. And then we are adding the custard mix.
This is pre-prepared custard?
Yes.
Okay, so slightly liquidy, right?
Packet custard, yeah. It is eggless. It's not the one that we make with eggs. It is eggless.
Yeah. And you need the custard to be a little, the pouring custard, not the set custard.
Yeah, not a jelly-like custard and not a very liquidy custard. It has to be a little thick. That's it. Because if it is very jelly-like, it won't get mixed up here and it will form lumps. It won't be very smooth. So now because the mango puree, we will be layering it up with mango puree and diced mangoes and also some biscuit crumbs, cookie crumbs. So we don't want the mousse to be very, very sugary. Now this is something very important that, we have to balance the recipes. So not everything has to be very sweet if we know that other ingredients are very high on sugar. So this is a very mildly sweetened mousse. And when we layer it, then you will get the perfect sweetness with diced mangoes. So this mousse is done. We'll keep it aside and we'll prepare a cookie base. So you can take any cookies and just crush them coarsely in a grinder. See. Okay, this is the consistency that we want. This is how they are like roughly
like Marie biscuits, those kind of.
You can take anything. Today I've taken Parle-G, but generally we do digestive biscuits.
All right.
Yeah, and then we have melted butter.
Okay.
I will simply add it.
So these are all steps that a child can actually do by himself or herself.
Yeah, very simple, easy steps. And then they just have to stir it in, mix it completely, nicely. We are adding butter so that it sets in the fridge. Butter, when goes in the fridge, it becomes hard, and so our base will also set with the mousse.
Great.
It can show the tray for layering what all we need. So coming to this tray, these are the things that we'll need for layering. We have mousse, we have some diced mangoes, we have coriander, some colorful confetti because it's for kids, and we have biscuit base, and we have mango puree. So you can actually use any of your bowls or glasses, anything that you like.
So if you can make one and show us, it'll be great, Meenal.
Sure, I'll just make one. Yeah. Very little. Okay. So we'll add around 2 teaspoons first, and then press it down. So right now it feels that, you know, it is not set, but once it goes in the fridge, it will be completely set.
Right, right. So, you know, this is such a beautiful activity for little children. If you number the ingredients, you know, the order in which the layers can go, it
Yes.
actually can bring in so much focus and concentration when they do it by themselves and
Yes.
follow the
So,
order.
so this is how we do it. I would like to show this.
Yeah.
This is how we do it. But with children, I'll show you once how to do with this, and with children how to do with this phone. Okay, we'll be doing 2 layers in one glass. So I'll show you both the things. So this is how we layer. We use a piping bag, fill it up because we get a very good finish if we use a piping bag.
This looks yum.
And then we'll add 1 layer of mango puree and spread it. And if you don't have a piping bag, this is we'll first add some mangoes, some really nice diced mangoes. And then this is how children can do if we don't have a piping bag.
So alternate layers.
Just press it down and spread it around. We need a flat top.
Okay.
Okay, we clean it up a bit. We add another layer of biscuit. Some more mangoes. You can play around with the layers, whatever you want.
Yeah.
There's no rule to it.
And so all of this is cold cooking, right? There's no fire involved, so it's very safe for children to do by themselves.
Yes. And then we can add some colorful confetti on top. This is the fun part and children love doing it. And if you want, you can put any green leaf to add more color. You can add mint leaf. We had coriander today, so we are adding coriander. Anything you want can be added. And we're good to go.
Super. This looks fab, Meenal. I'm hungry now.
Yeah.
Looks really good. And you know, I was just observing, you use so many words, right? So can you imagine how much vocabulary building actually happens in the kitchen? You talk about, you spoke about whisking versus mixing. You have layering. You have to read recipes. You read about so many ingredients. So that's the second point I made. First point I made about was math. Second was language development. The sheer number of words and vocabulary a child is exposed to in the kitchen in such a natural way is phenomenal. And, you know, one of the tips is for younger children, you know, you can tell them the recipe, but I always suggest to a lot of parents whose children don't like reading that, you know, just make them read the recipe out to you while you kind of make the recipe. And it is such a fantastic way to introduce language in the kitchen without them feeling conscious that they're actually studying. So that's point number 2, that while you're making these beautiful dishes, there's so much terminology and process in terms of language that is going into children. So Meenal, that was fantastic. So what are we going to look at next?
Just getting on my tray.
Sure.
We do popsicles, ice cream next because that's of course the favorite.
Yeah.
So So it's very simple. Generally, ice cream making is a long process, and children, it's not very child friendly thing to make ice cream because there's a lot of dry ice and nitrogen and all involved. So we came up with something that children can do, very simple recipe, not very high on sugar, but still extremely yummy. And we are not adding any condensed milk or anything else into it. So it's a very simple but very kids friendly recipe. So I'll move it here. And so we need a popsicle mold for it. Now there are a lot of kind of popsicle molds that you get in market. This one is made out of polycarbonate, and then we have another one which is silicone. So this is generally a little more commercial, and you can use any popsicle mold that you have. And we had just whipped some cream when we started the session, right? So we are using crushed Oreo biscuits, if you guys can come closer. So very tiny pieces of Oreo.
This is without the cream, Meenal? This is just the
cream. Yeah, we always use any kind of cookie, any kind of thing, any kind of biscuit. We use it always without the cream.
All
You
right.
have to put cream, and then you can use a rolling pin to coarse it. So grind it actually. Sure. So I will just add my cream to a pourer.
This is what, Amul fresh cream, unwhipped?
You can use Amul fresh cream also, but it crystallizes. So as I told you when we started the session, so we are using whipped cream. So we are using Riches brand. You also get Tropolite very easily available in all the provision stores. So whipping cream is different from fresh cream. So fresh cream might crystallize, and this gives a very smooth finish.
Lovely. Okay.
Okay, so it's very simple, just 2 ingredients needed, that's it. So we add cookies first. And then we'll add some cream. This is the layer that we're gonna follow. So we use a piping bag again to fill this up, but I am trying it out without a piping bag because children won't be able to use piping bag every time.
Meenal, I think people are not able to hear you very clearly. If you can just check on that, on the Instagram device.
Okay. Am I audible now?
I think there is some issue. I'm getting...
So we'll tap it a bit more so that all the air gaps are filled. We'll add some cookies.
So this is also layering of the cream and the cookies, right?
Yeah, but we are using whipped cream instead of fresh cream because whipped cream has got some natural stabilizers in it. So it's very easy to demold them, and they give you this ice cream texture.
Oh.
It doesn't crystallize actually. It's much easier to do with Amul fresh cream because the consistency is very liquid. Here we have a thick consistency so that we get a nice aerated texture when we demold the ice cream.
Does this cream need to be whipped, or is it just straight out of the packet?
No, we just whipped it in the beginning when we started the session.
That's the same cream. Okay.
Yeah, that's the same cream.
Lovely. Okay.
I will just scrape the excess off. and level them. Can't hear. Is there anything like, you have to unmute or something?
Well, I'm not sure why some of the Instagram audience is not able to hear. I think it's pretty clear on Facebook, but maybe if the device could be closer.
Yes.
So what did you do with that? Does it need to be
No, I'm just, yeah. Okay, so now we just need to put the lid. If you want, you can add more Oreo into it. Completely up to you. And then we put these ice cream sticks.
This looks like a perfect summer dish to make at home for the children and with the children.
Absolutely. Okay, now this goes into the refrigerator for minimum 8 hours. So if you make it today, you can demold it by tomorrow. Okay.
Refrigerator or freezer?
Freezer.
Freezer, right? Okay.
Yeah. So it goes into the freezer for 8 hours. And we have some made yesterday that we show you how to dip them in we call it Endrobaj. It is basically a nutty chocolate dip. So I will first tell you how to make that. So this is melted chocolate. This is oil. These are some chopped almonds and chopped cashew. So this is cooking chocolate. You get cooking chocolate in all the provision stores. And you have to melt it very carefully in microwave. So again, in this adult supervision is required. It's simply just putting everything like chop the chocolate, put in the bowl, and for 30 seconds, keep microwaving it and stirring it till it is melted. So once this is melted, you can tell your child to randomly mix everything into one bowl. It's as simple as that. I will just melt it a little bit more because it's set from the side. So I'll just probably for 30 seconds and it will be done.
All right. So parents, as you can see, for all our viewers here, there's so many terms, right, that Meenal has been using. So, the way science comes into it, you're talking about melting, you're talking about thawing, you're talking about enrobing, you're talking about, because, there is so much science which goes into, reactions of food, cause and effect. So, you realize when you microwave something, it results in something. So it's very obvious to us as adults, but for children, understanding cause and effect is such a wonderful thing in the kitchen, right? So science and geography, ingredients, what happens when you mix various ingredients together, what colors change, what textures change, is all science at play. What we call, I guess in a way, molecular gastronomy, and all of that comes from the science of it.
Yes. I think the only dark color that children like is the color of chocolate, because they associate with the good taste of chocolate.
Yeah.
And when you're melting and doing all these things, children will definitely make a mess of it, and please let them do. Don't be very finicky about being very clean all the time. They will make a lot of mess when baking.
Why do we need oil, Meenal? Why do you need?
If it's chocolate, it will crack when you will actually dip your ice cream into it. So it will crack. So to avoid those cracks, we add oil, and we'll nicely keep on stirring it till we feel that it's properly emulsified together. It will give a nice shine and softness.
Okay.
And the outer layer will be really nice, silky, in texture. And then we add all the chopped nuts.
Yeah. I have a 3-year-old and an 8-year-old. joy, all of this. And you know, the point you made about mess, I think sometimes as parents, we become over conscious of the mess. You know, I understand that in the lockdown time, everything is extra work to do. But if you are able to designate a platform or an area in the house, you know, we spoke about sensory bins. This is no less than a sensory bin when you do these activities.
So see, it's nice and shiny and it's
Yeah.
completely melted. Now this is little warm right now and we can't dip our ice creams, popsicles when it's warm. So we need to let it cool down because there's a lot of oil in it. Even if it cools down, it won't set. It will be of liquid consistency only. So it will be easy for us to dip. And
That I didn't know, right? That's something. Okay.
okay, so here I have made few yesterday. So we used the mold that we used. This is the popsicle from that. And I showed you another white one. So these ones are from the other mold.
Okay.
So you will put your nutty chocolate dip in a jar. Give a nice stir.
So guys, I don't think you want kids to eat this before bedtime because this rush is going to keep them awake for another 2 hours. So I think this is an ideal afternoon snack to have for the little ones. It's an activity come snack for them.
Yes. And now we will just dip it.
Voila, looks fantastic.
Scrape it off the excess. And let's put it over here. You want me to show one more? It's pretty simple. Dip everything, take it out, tap it a bit, scrape off the excess. And here we go.
Beautiful. These look.
A
These
lot
look
of children who
homemade.
like chocolate too much, they can have it without the dippy, like the nutty chocolate dip. They can have it as it is as well.
All right, all right. So does this need to be frozen again or it's good to be eaten then and there?
It's ice cream, so you have to quickly store it in the freezer again, or you can have it as it is as well. Like, you can right now have it, and if you're not having it right now, just keep it in the freezer.
All right, all right, all right. This is beautiful, Meenal. This looks really great. And I think while you are showing us our last recipe, I want to talk a little bit about, people talk about how their children are 4 and 5 and don't enjoy writing much. 2 weeks ago, we did a session on how to introduce writing to toddlers. One of the things I want to share with all of you is that there's so much finger muscle development that happens in the kitchen, right? So when you talk about mixing, when you talk about scooping, when you talk about cutting, when you talk about cutting with the scissors, when you talk about, kneading dough, when you talk about rolling, I want to tell everybody that these are amazing pre-writing skills. So when we say finger muscle development, it is not getting up in the morning and asking your children to kind of do exercise with their fingers. It is about involving activities in the kitchen, rolling, cutting, dicing, kneading, which actually make children so ready for coloring and then writing. And I think children from the age of 2 can help in the kitchen. In fact, when I was, researching about this, I realized 2 to 3-year-olds can also help in mixing and, pouring. 4 to 5-year-olds can do some basic cutting, with a plastic knife, maybe. 7 to 8-year-olds can do a lot more measuring, following instructions. And I think a child over 10 can actually follow a whole recipe and do that. So don't hesitate to kind of involve your children in, this kind of thing. Yeah, Meenal, we're ready for the last one.
This is a very, very easy, very quick recipe. So We are doing garlic bread. So first of all, we need to make garlic butter. So please come closer. So we have some soft butter. Then we have chopped, like very finely chopped garlic, and we have some chopped coriander. So we just need to mix everything. This is really one very easy session that we are doing for kids. I'm sure they will love all the recipes. So we just keep mixing till it's nicely blended. Whenever you get some garlic bread at home and you want to enjoy it with your pastas, you can always make this garlic butter and put this on your garlic breads and then toast them. It gives a very nice garlic flavor, very nice smoky flavor.
Domino's, what's in the Domino garlic butter? Yum.
Exactly. So now this is the butter knife that we're using. Why am I showing this? Is because one thing I would like to mention that, you know, when we're dealing with kids, sometimes it happens that, you know, kids get scared of knives. So a good way to introduce them to knife is they can start with butter knife first, because you can explain them that, you know, both the sides are blunt, nothing is sharp, and they just get a hang of it, that, you know, how to hold it. You can start cutting soft. You can make them cut soft things like, you know, fruits and all. They're really soft. Yeah. And you can cut them with the butter knife very easily. So they get the confidence to hold the knife and cut. You don't get scared from it. So anyway, we're using a butter knife. Heat a frying pan first. And then we have 2 breads. On both the sides, we'll apply this butter. You can see I'm applying it very generously because it is for kids. If you want to reduce the amount, it's absolutely up to you.
So everything need not be from outside, right? There's so many interesting things that one can make in their own kitchens these days, despite the lockdown.
Okay, once this is done, we have some mozzarella cheese or pizza cheese. We'll spread it. Children love spreading things, whether it is sprinkle, whether it is cheese. They love spreading things.
Yeah. It is so satisfying, right, for a child to spread, to you know, to decorate. All of this gives you such a feel good. It's so therapeutic. I think it's for a reason that they say cooking is like therapy. And I have discovered this only in the lockdown.
True. So we make a sandwich out of it, and the frying pan is pretty much heated. I will keep it here and put the lid.
Okay, okay.
And we'll cook it from both the sides.
This is like a great sandwich.
And you can flip it. Close the lid because we want cheese to be nicely melted.
Great, great. This looks like a snack. This looks like a nice dinner. It could also be a dinner option with a lot of vegetables on the side, because it's got cheese and
vegetables.
Yeah, with a lot of nice sauteed vegetables. A balanced meal, right? You talk about the building blocks of nutrition, you talk about how you need the right amount of fats, carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, and how, you know, what dish actually contains what. It's really interesting to show children that as well.
Okay, we'll just check if the cheese is melted. Just a little more. We'll also check if it's not burning from the other side. All good. We need 1 more minute. So this is cooking on gas, and of course some supervision is required.
Yeah.
Some children can't do it alone.
At the end of it, what we need to also remember that what our children need today are breaks from their daily routine. And I think, you know, when you give them this feel good of them feeling accomplished, that feeling that, wow, I have served it to my parents, is such a nice feeling for them.
Exactly. That sense of pride is very important.
Very important, yeah.
Okay, so it's done. It's a little hot. If you're comfortable, you can cut now, or you can wait for a minute more. And then we cut them in sticks.
Okay, okay.
This is a quick recipe for all the mothers for evening snack. So that's how the sticks look, and it's nice, cheesy. See?
This is amazing. I know where I'm going to drive out now and get those.
And this tastes exactly like the garlic bread we get from Domino's.
Oh, okay. So folks, you don't need to kind of worry. You have this recipe right here at home.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm,
So
Love.
I have one thing to show you when we're doing something fruity and colorful. These are some nice fruity magic wands that children can make. So we'll show a close-up of this as well. How do we do that is, we have this cutter, and these are some chopsticks. So you just have to slice any of the fruit, and you can cut it in stars or any shape that you want, rounds or anything that you have. And you know, they look like this. This is watermelon, and this is pineapple. So you can cut any fruit. And we have some grapes also. So it's a very fun activity for very young children. You can simply, you know, take a skewer. And we have cut the pointed side of it. So there is no pointed edge because you're dealing with children. So you just keep on adding whatever fruit that you want to.
So, you know, we keep talking about for preschool children and for young children, we talk about how beading necklaces is so important. Beading, lacing. This is a very similar concept where you use a pincer grip. You know, the child needs to pick up a fruit, focus, poke it onto the stick, and they have so much fun while doing that.
Exactly. And they look so pretty, they can run around with it and eat it along, eat it also.
Lovely. This looks absolutely fun. I mean, I think all 4 recipes were so good, Meenal.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And your kids are going to enjoy it.
Wow, this is like, you know, for a great lockdown birthday party, this is the perfect menu that Meenal has actually shown us today. Lovely. So Meenal, thank you so much.
My pleasure, completely. It was such a fun session. I always love doing, recipes for children.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think our parents are now they're able to kind of put why we say even cooking has so much learning in it. I think you have actually demonstrated so many concepts just by, putting together these amazing dishes. And Meenal has shared the recipes with us. We're going to put it, we're going to post them shortly on Instagram and Facebook. And Meena, thank you so much for this wonderful session. And I think all the parents on Get Set Parent are really enlightened. And I hope all the viewers on Amado also understand how learning and food can actually be integrated and become seamless.
Thank you, Palviji. It was lovely being on the show with you. It's completely my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. We meet next Friday again and see how learning and development can be. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.